Well, it happened fast. In a little less than 2 days, we went from this...
I'm staying in the race.
...to the entire Democrat Party coalescing behind... that as their standard bearer for 2024. So now the only intrigue that's left is trying to guess who's going to lock down that coveted number 2 spot to run with... And there's at least one eager beaver who is doing his absolute best high school nerd imitation, just begging to be noticed.
Oh, pick me! No, me!
The former mayor of the 4th largest city in that densely populated megalopolis known as Indiana, Pete Buttigieg, was out quickly with a statement following Biden's PDF release declaring Joe to be, quote, among the best and most consequential presidents in our history. He also praised Kamala Harris as being the right person to pick up right where Joe left off, praising her extraordinary leadership. Buttigieg doesn't want to leave anything to chance, so he also appeared on Bill Maher's television show recently, where he showed how he's the perfect smart guy to take on J.D. Vance.
I know a lot of guys like J.D. Vance. I've run into a lot of guys like him. When I got to Harvard, I found a lot of people like him who would say whatever they needed to get ahead.
Now, in case you didn't catch what was happening there, let me help. Pete Buttigieg is complaining about people in politics being selected based on fake identity characteristics instead of merit. That would be a pretty awesome burn if it wasn't for the fact that Pete Buttigieg is himself the poster boy for such a description. A former mayor of a 4th-rate Midwestern city gets appointed Secretary of Transportation. How? Why?
The first ever openly gay nominee to lead the cabinet department.
And there you go. Not that being gay was his only qualification. No. Unlike J.D. Vance, Buttigieg definitely earned his position to lead this $90 billion a year cabinet department. Don't believe me? Listen to him detail his eminent qualifications.
I've also had a personal love of transportation ever since childhood, though I know that in this administration I will at best aspire to be the second biggest train enthusiast. I spent a spring break in graduate school aboard a cargo ship, studying there. I proposed to my husband Chasten in an airport terminal.
Take that, critics. This guy was the obvious choice. I mean, I proposed to my wife in the radio station where we met, so I'm sure my appointment to the FCC is in the works. So then we have to ask, how did the decision to appoint a guy to lead the country's transportation department because he's gay, likes trains, and studied on a boat once, how did that turn out? Well, we had the toxic train derailment scandal in East Palestine, Ohio. Secretary Pete didn't have much time to meet with the residents there dealing with Chernobyl 2.0, but he was able to tell us all not to panic because, hey, trains derail all the time. No, that's really what he said. Then came the worst year ever for airline cancellations that occurred on his watch. Then was the supply chain crisis that occurred just in time to threaten Christmas for millions of Americans. Then as gas prices began to rise dramatically, crushing poor families in particular, Secretary Pete strutted out to the cameras to scold those impoverished peons that if they would just purchase a $70,000 electric vehicle, they wouldn't have to worry about gas. Then came the most recent technical computer glitch that grounded 3 or 4 major airline carriers in the United States. It grounded them, as in 9/11 type of cancellations. Disasters for travelers and business. And where was our transportation secretary at such a moment? That's when he was busy recording his J.D. Vance criticism on Bill Maher. So Pete, buddy, I get that you may be a tad bit jealous of J.D. Vance. After all, you were supposed to be the political wonder kid. But keep your chin up, man. The left has always had an interesting approach on who's ready for prime time. You might still get picked. After all, consider the last person to hold this job.